Thursday to you. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Welcome to Days of Danny, where I am talking about the 10th season of Married at First Sight in episode 9. As usual, it feels like it's dragging, but please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I thank you so much for clicking and wanting to hear my review and my input. But please give me a comment whenever you've listened to my review. If you agree or if you have some feedback, I'd really appreciate it. So, but yeah, definitely please subscribe and hit that bell so we can get my subscribers up. I am doing this. I'm really happy to be doing this, but I really would like, some more friends. So thank you so much. But so let's get started. So the first couple we'll talk about is Mica and Michael. Let's switch it up this week. Mika's taking out her weave out of her hair. She is having a little trouble sitting on the floor, and Michael's like, "Oh, I can help. I've taken a few, helped out with some braids and things before. I can definitely help you." And Mika's like, "Boy, if you cut my hair." I said, "Oh Lord, this boy better not mess up." But she shows him, but she's kind of skeptical, but he seems to be, able. But it shows really that he's willing to, participate. And he said he's happy that he has a wife that has natural hair, and, can't wait to see all of that. And so he's very, receptive and wants to help with, her daily beauty. So that's pretty cool. He mentions that he did not take the principal job. He decided to leave that position, and she's just looking at him like, "What do you mean? You told me that I was gonna be stable. You told me you had a job." And he says, he goes on with this whole story about how they told him one thing on the contract, and it didn't end up being that. And I guess it was something that had to do with a religious school, or it was under the parishioners who could set, different standards or different things for his position that he just was not going to be a part of. So he left that position. And then he says what he should have led with is that he took another position with another school as a director of some other type of school. So, I guess it kind of all works out, but Mika's kind of like, "Why? I don't understand. You said you had a whole offer letter. How did everything just change all of a sudden? And now it's something different." So, yeah, she was not trying to hear that. She thought there was something fishy about that, and I don't know. But later you see them, they had opened the little letter, or each couple throughout the episode got a little note from the experts, asking them to talk about like their love language, or I'm saying love language, I don't know if that's the word that they use, but basically talk about their relationship and how they want to be loved. And they kind of go, Michael says what he is interested in, and then Mica kind of goes right back to the conversation they had about him getting this new job. Oh, and because her need as a person in the relationship is for her partner to be honest. And so she circles back to, "I just don't understand this whole, you had a job and then you left it, and then you just decide, and he just shuts down. He starts putting his lips up like, and I mean, you just see that he just wants to get up and leave. But she's just letting him have it. Like, I don't know why I just don't get it. I feel like you're not telling me the truth. And then you see him where he's just kind of saying, I just think that everything is a setup with her. She's just always trying to get me that, aha, I gotcha. And, you know, he's not really, you know, taking that she's even trying to be in it. She's just trying to make sure that he is looked at, she's trying to make him look bad. I think that's what he feels. So he tells her that I don't trust you. I don't trust you, so I can't really, you know, give you all the details about why the job changed. But, you know, he just didn't go there. Like, but here's the thing. With Michael, she's just trying to get all the details, and he's just like, you take what I give you. And I would be pissed off too. Like, I need to know what's going on, especially as your wife. And I know it's a show, and maybe sometimes she probably shouldn't be asking on camera. I don't know what could be going on after the cameras leave or whatever, but I don't know. But they kind of ended there. Later on, you see them. Michael says, okay, maybe I was a little rough. And he takes her out to dinner. And it was a nice little dinner. They were sitting outside, out DC. You know, kind of tells her, you know, I do apologize. I don't mean to, you know, have this type of relationship. I want to, you know, us to work on it. And they say that, you know, they kind of come to the conclusion with each other that they're kind of similar. We're both kind of, you know, bullheaded and want what we want, and, you know, it's kind of button heads. So I don't know. I still don't believe in them, but, you know, if they feel like they have potential at this point, hey, go ahead. Excuse me. Excuse me. Later on, we see them walking around DC. Excuse me again. There'll probably be a third one, y'all. You know they come in three. They come in three. They walk around DC. He gets a text from Brandon while they're walking around, and Brandon sends him a video, but we'll talk about that later. You know, they kind of talk, and they seem like they're having a good, you know, walk and talking, and you know, it's a good vibe with them now. So they end with them going to get pedicures after that. Well, the next day, he says that he had, I guess, stubbed her toe or broke one of her nails on her toes. So, yeah, I guess by accident. So he was, you know, said, oh, you know what, I'm going to get you a pedicure. And he says he usually gets them done about once a month. And we can make this a thing where we go get our pedicures every 2 weeks. But yeah. So, you know, I mean, hey, if you want to give me a pedicure every 2 weeks, I am down. So that was cool that they seem to be on a positive. They ended on a positive, at least on this episode. So we shall see. But that was Mika and Michael. So the next couple I'll talk about is Katie and Derek. They are talking, and they got their little letter from their experts, and they're, you know, talking about how they want to go about their relationship. And it comes up to where Katie's kind of like, I just don't understand about this whole, you don't feel like you would fall in love for a certain amount of time. And I mean, I had 2 relationships and I thought I was in love, or I knew it was just a big deal. And then Derek just kind of goes off and says, you know what, I'm tired of being made to feel like I'm a weirdo for being 27 and never have been in love before. I mean, it's not like it's, something that has to happen. It's my life, and you shouldn't be sitting here, making me feel bad about it. And she kind of just shuts up, because it's true. I mean, yes, a lot of us have had those situations by then, or at least thought you were in love. And, that the fact that he doesn't, even if that's the truth, then you don't make anyone feel like, it's something that is a red flag or something bad. Or because, I mean, honey, it could be a whole lot of worse red flags than him not being in love. Hey, I mean, and shoot, for you to be maybe the first person he falls in love with, that's kind of cool. So, later on, after he calms down, because he kind of got real upset, he got up and went on the porch and just was like, I can't deal with this. I shouldn't be made to feel this way. I mean, he was talking to the camera like, shh. So they calm down next day, or the next day we see them. They are in the car and they're riding, and they're, kind of talking it out. And he was just like, I'm not going to, break your heart. Because he, in the previous day, she says, I just don't want my heart broken. I don't want to be putting my all into this, and then he never falls in love with me. And I get that. I understand. You don't want to be made a fool of, or you don't want to be wasting your time. But you still got to let things happen. It's only been a couple weeks. Like, come on. So, Derek's like, I'm not going to break your heart. And she's like, okay, I'll stop, trying to put that stigma on you about not falling in love. And, we can go from there. So that was cool. Later on, we see Derek had made her some mac and cheese, some Kraft macaroni and cheese, which is, I guess, some people like that. They, have a happy conversation, and, they end the night well. They talk about where they want to move in the future after they move out of the Married at First Sight house. And, they kind of compromise on that, location. And everything seems cool with Kate and Derek. So that was cool. They seem to be on a good road. And of course, because they're going to have arguments, they're going to have disagreements. So it was good that they kind of worked it through. That was a good thing. So yeah, so that was them. So the next couple I'll talk about is Jessica and Austin. Jessica and Austin, of course, they're just doing awesome. They're just, they really have hardly any issues. Their thing, they were talking about their love language, and Austin says, my language is mostly, doing things, or when you come in, giving you a hug, and making sure you're comfortable and things like that. And Jessica says, yeah, I do understand that that's how he does show me his love, or his that he cares. And Jessica is not one to just run in and hug someone, so she says she's gonna have to learn how to do that, which is good. And her only concern is that he doesn't know either that when he would fall in love. And he was like, well, I'm not gonna rush into that. That's just not something you rush into. She asked him when the last time he had a relationship, how long did it take for him to say I love you? And he said, oh, about a year. And she just was kind of flabbergasted about that, and kind of was not happy about it. But I mean, hey, I guess that's, what his feelings were. So, I guess she said, well, I'll have to relax I'll just let him take it day by day. But she mentions that Oh, I think he'll say it first. And even tells him that. I think he'll say it first. Okay. They went to the batting cages. She showed him, or took him as a surprise to the batting cages, because he played in college baseball. So she thought that was a good outing for him. So she wanted to show him that, I'm thinking of you, and I understand, and I'm listening to you, and I know what you like to do. So they had a good time at the batting cage. And, but yeah, that was Jessica and Austin. They definitely have no issues, no big issues as of yet. So that's a good thing. But yeah, that's Jessica and Austin. The next couple we'll talk about is Zach and Mindy. Oh, these po couples. Zach and Mindy meet up in the park. Mindy gets the note that the experts leave for the questioning about the love and how you want to be loved and things like that. So she has to meet up with her husband in the park because he don't want to live with her. Oh, anyway, she was sitting there. They were sitting on the rocks. He had his dog. And she was kind of telling him how she, is kind of missing out on the full experience. I understand. I want to understand that you need time. I want to, give you your time, but I also want the full experience. I signed up for this. We are married. We're not friends. So I just want you to know that I don't feel like I'm being fulfilled. And he kind of like played her to the side, like, and then he whistles for his dog, I guess was in the water, and he didn't like that or something. His dog was just out too far, but he just, hey, Spot, I don't know. And ignored everything she said. At least that's how they edited it. If it was something else, that's a shame that they edited it that way, but they edited it to where he was just ignoring her. Later on, we see Zach at home at his own apartment, FaceTiming his sister. Sister says, what's going on? How's it been going? He's telling her, I wasn't feeling comfortable about moving in just yet, so we're taking it day by day. And the sister says everything everybody has been saying. Well, I think it's messed up. I'm going to say it how I would say it. I think it's messed up. You already know the girl's parents didn't even come to the wedding. And now you backing out on it, you leaving her alone. I would feel lonely. She should be upset. I would be mad too. Why would you do that? You should just go ahead and, enjoy the full experiment. But she says it in her way. She, basically lets him know, I don't think it's right. I think you are, she did say something like, did the experts, after you talked to them, did they let you know that you overthink things? And he said, yeah, it was mentioned. She knows him like a book. I mean, she's telling him, reading him all the way out. But he kind of just said, okay. But so his solution to that was, he didn't go move over there, at least not as of yet. He goes and has a slumber party with her. So we see her sitting there playing solitaire before he shows up to the apartment. And then he comes in and she's so happy. See, I would be like, oh, you came? All right, well, good for you. You want to play a game. But no, she took it happily, and she, they play games, they talk, they seem to get along really well. He seems like he's trying to make efforts to, build some type of relationship. So I don't know. I guess that's his way, and we'll see how that works out for them. Yeah. So that was Jessica. I'm sorry. That was Zach and Mindy. That was Zach and Mindy. All right. So the last couple we'll talk about is Mr. Brandon and Mrs. Taylor. Okay. They start out, they read their letter from the experts. And she's asking him, you know, what the questions on the card or the note. And he's kind of like, I don't know. And she goes to give her answer like, you know, this is what I like. This is what I want. I need some time to be spent with me, is what I think her gripe was. And I you know, feel like you want to, you know, sit with me. And he's like, well, yeah, I think that's what I want. And she's just like, no, you have to have your own answer. You can't just piggyback on my answer. And they kind of go back and forth. And she, you know, she's like, well, I try to go into the room and you're playing your Xbox. And I just feel like it's, you know, you don't want to be bothered. And he was like, well, I come into the house and you're doing whatever you're doing. And I'm thinking I want to approach you, but you look like you have a stank face on. So I don't approach you. I'm not finna have that energy. I'm not finna go there. And she's just like, so they both are just not communicating. They are just going opposites of the apartment. And Brandon says, well, you just have a full-on attitude all the time, and you're not, you say we are supposed to start over, but we're not starting over. You're just continuing to be mad. And she later on we see Taylor. She makes him dinner, really good big seafood dinner. Sets it up for him, and you know, it seems like she's trying, but I don't know. Like, it seems like, let me show you what I can do, or you know, or make it look like I'm trying. I don't know, but you know, she definitely is putting on a show, whatever it is. And he is just like, well, you know, just the attitude, and they argue, and it just doesn't end well. So he puts his food away, and that was that. Later on, I guess Taylor goes out, or maybe the next day, she goes out with her friends, and Brandon's at home alone. He gets a message on his phone with a video of a link to her Instagram for Taylor, and it's showing how she's saying, you know, I can't find a man. Why is it so hard to find a man? All I need is, you know, them to be 6 foot and this and have a job and da 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 da. And it's just not right. Definitely, I understand her frustration, but it wasn't cool. At least not if you're trying to say that you are not doing anything and what have you. So Brandon's upset, and before Taylor even gets back, he packs up his stuff and gets out. He leaves. He says, I can't do this no more. I don't see us coming back from this. Taylor gets home, and she sees that his stuff is gone. She sees that he put his key on the table, and you just see her looking like, okay. We see her get a phone call from one of the experts, Dr. Viviana. Dr. Viviana says, you know, what's going on with this Instagram post? What's up with it? And Taylor's like, well, it wasn't meant to be for him. It wasn't meant to be malicious. It was just something I wanted to post for me and my friends, and it was nothing. It didn't even have anything to do with him. Really? You're a whole-fledged married, and you gonna make a post like that? Even if you weren't on a show. Come on. Are we 10 making up stories? Like, that's something my 10-year-old would say. I ain't mean it like that. I was just, what? Come on. I mean, come on. I'm rooting for you, Taylor, but come on. You know that was wrong. You know that was wrong. And I'm not saying Brandon's all the way right, because he was wrong too. But two wrongs don't make it right, as they say. Two wrongs don't make it right. You should have came out there unscathed and just let them little weeks go by and not did that. You didn't have to do that. But anyway. Later on we see Mika and Taylor meet up. And Mika's kind of, going about what she's going, what's going on with her and Michael, and, the good and the bad, and, but we're good, cool. Taylor starts her, what's going on with them. And she's like, oh, it seems like we're going through something similar. And she's like, well, I did this post on Instagram, but it wasn't nothing. I just thought, I was just making a little funny post. And she said, I don't know what he's mad about. And Mika's like, girl, you sure? Are you sure you don't know? Mika just sits in silence and just thinks, I don't know what she's thinking, but you can see on her face that she's just like, okay, girl, okay. And when she by herself, she says, I don't think it's right. If it was me, if Michael made a post like that, I would be heated. So I understand what Brandon is going through. So Taylor's like, well, I don't know. Mika said, well, I think you should apologize. And Taylor's just looked at her like, okay. If you say so. And then we see Brandon and Michael meet up, and Brandon's telling him what's going on about the he's like, man, that's messed up. And he's like, I think I'm done. I think that we can't come back from this. So yeah, that was them. That is just crazy. I can't even believe she went there. Are you serious? Oh gosh, but that was episode 9, and it's just getting crazier and crazier. So I'm sure it'll be on 10 a few episodes from now if it's getting like this. All I can say is a couple of them need to just chill out with how long did it take for them to say I love you. One of them needs to just forget it and call it quits, but whatever, or just have fun with it. All I can say is don't be expecting too much. And that last one, yeah, let's just be honest, that's just not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I can't see them saying yes at the end, but we shall see. Anything can happen. But thank you so much for joining me with my review. I hope that you will join me again next week for episode 10. Please like and subscribe on my channel so you can get a notification when I do upload. I try to upload after the show Thursdays. If not, maybe Fridays. But as far as anything else on my channel, I'm going to try to post some different recipes. So please join me and join my family. I appreciate your support. Like I said, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and y'all have a good night.